Hi guys, this video has been requested by a viewer, but I intended to make this at some point anyway, so we'll get this done today. This is going to be a tutorial for the excellent puzzle from TomZ and mf8, which is the 3x4x5. This is a very challenging puzzle when you first start out. Just a couple of things to go over before we start. You do need to know already how to solve, I'd recommend at least that you know how to solve both a domino cube, a 3x3x2, and this 3x3x4, because you're going to need all the information that you learn from solving these to be able to solve the 3x4x5. The strategy we're going to employ is, once it's scrambled up and all shape shifted, we will use we will solve it like we solved the 3x3x4. That returns it to its cuboid shape, and then we use parity algorithms to finish off any pieces that need to be solved from there onwards. Now, I would highly recommend that if you aren't comfortable with these two puzzles already, then I would recommend go to watch my tutorials on those before you try and attempt this puzzle, and also my tutorial on different parity algorithms. Just to give you an idea, even if you haven't got the puzzles and so can't practice solving them, to be honest, I would recommend getting those puzzles first, because this is definitely a challenging puzzle if you're not already comfortable with those kind of puzzles. However, if you have watched those videos, or if you're already comfortable solving these puzzles, then continue to watch this and we'll get on with it now. First of all, as regards scrambling the puzzle, you do have to be a little bit careful. What you need to do when you're scrambling these, it's the same with most cuboids, is only scramble with 180-degree turns to begin with, because what happens once you start shape shifting, these two layers become bandaged together. You can't separate those pieces, so you end up in a situation where these pieces don't get scrambled at all, and it's the same on the other side as well. So the puzzle won't be scrambled properly, and obviously if the puzzle's not scrambled well, then it's not a proper challenge. You want this puzzle to be challenging, that's the whole point of it. So yeah, make sure you do that when you're scrambling the puzzle. So yeah, random turns in obviously every direction, 180-degree turns all over the place obviously, and you don't need to see all that, so I will be back with you in a second. Okay, as you can see, the puzzle is now scrambled in cuboid form. It doesn't look as scrambled as you would on any other puzzle, because you've only been doing the 180-degree turns. You've only got two colours on each face, so it's not going to look as scrambled as another kind of cuboid is. And then you want to start doing the shape-shifting scrambling moves. Now, the interesting thing about this cuboid, if you haven't already noticed, it only shape-shifts in one direction. You can't shape-shift this way, because if you turn a 3-face into a 4-face, because the pieces don't line up, what you need to do is turn the 3-face into the 5-face, if that makes sense. So you've got the edge with 3 over here, turn it across onto the side with 5 across, and then you can do the shape-shifting moves. So then from then on, you obviously do more random scrambling turns, and we'll be back with you again in a second. Okay, so now it's scrambled up, and we'll start with the solve. First of all, I want to explain why exactly we solve this like the 3x3x4. If you're not familiar with these, you may be wondering why on earth that would be the case. So let me first explain. As I said a moment ago, the outer two layers, once it's shape-shifted, they become bandaged together. So essentially, that is one layer now. So you've got one layer there, and of course the centre layer. So that means it's 3 across. You turn it 90 degrees, and we've got exactly the same situation. One layer there, and the centre layer. So that's 3x3. And top to bottom, we can got a layer there that can turn, a layer there that can turn, a layer there that can turn, and of course the bottom layer. So that's 4 layers high. So essentially, that's what the puzzle is turned into in its shape-shifting form. Hopefully, knowing this, it will help you recognise this when you see it in any other shape-shifting puzzles that you might have now or in the future. So when I say we're solving it as a 3x3x4, we are going to completely ignore this layer and this layer. So I don't know if I can show that properly. This layer and this layer. What we're going to solve is the centre strip and the two outer edges on the 3x3x4. and that will leave us in a situation where parity algorithms can solve the rest of the cube. So the way we start this off is exactly the same way as we start off a 3x3x4. We get a cross. Now what a cross is going to be the centerpiece on this face, the centerpiece on this face, the centerpiece on this face, and the centerpiece on this face. And what we're going to solve is like a domino in the center. So we're going to be doing the center two layers to begin with. We're going to completely ignore the top and bottom layers. We'll sort those out afterwards. So we're just dealing with the center two layers at the moment. So as you can see on the bottom of the center two layers, I've got a blue there, and what that means is, because I know my puzzle goes red, white, blue in clockwise direction, I've got red on the bottom, so this one is already correct as it happens. I've got a white center here. If I hadn't, I'd put that into place. So I've got white there, blue there, and I need a yellow opposite the white. So I find a yellow center in the top face, turn it above the position it needs to be, and just rotate it 180 degrees. So that puts a yellow opposite the white, and then I need a green opposite the blue, which also happens to be in place already. But if it wasn't, that's exactly what I would do again, just rotate one from the top layer 180 degrees. So I've now got my four centers in place: white, blue, yellow, and green. We now move to doing the corners of the bottom layer. And this is exactly the same algorithm as you would use on a domino cube. It looks a little bit more confusing when you first envisage it, but it's not. It's done exactly the same way. So what we're looking for first is a piece that can go into the lower layer. Now I've got a white blue here. If I turn that above the place the corner it needs to go on, if you remember from the domino tutorial, what you need is opposite colours on these corners. So I've got white on the white face, blue on the blue face, so obviously that's not the right piece. So I need to find another white and blue, which is over here. If I turn that above the place it needs to be, it looks like it's in the wrong position, but trust me, as long as it's above that spot, that is going to go into place as it needs to be. So I've got of the white blue piece, I've got the white on the blue face and the blue on the white face, and that's where it needs to be. So we do the normal corner algorithm that drops a corner from the top layer to the bottom layer. Remember again that we are only using these center two pieces at the moment, like a domino in itself. So the algorithm is 2R, U, 2R, U prime, 2R, and that's put that piece into position, as you can see, the blue and white piece. Now, as I said, you ignore this blue piece here. It just so happens that one happens to be right at the moment, but on some of the pieces that will not be the case. It's only the corner piece we're interested in at the moment. Notice as well that when I said U in that algorithm, what I was actually turning was the top two layers, because again we are only solving these two layers at the moment. Okay, so let's see if we can find another piece that can go into this bottom layer of our current domino. We've got a blue-yellow slot there, so see if we've got a blue-yellow in the top layer. It doesn't look like we have, so we'll ignore that one for now. We'll come down to here, so this would need to be a green-yellow. We have a green-yellow here. We turn that to there, and as you can see, we've got the yellow on the green face where that centre is, and the green on the yellow face, so we can drop that into place with the same algorithm again. So it's 2R, U, 2R, U prime, 2R. As you can see, that's put the green and yellow in, and this one's different, of course, like I mentioned on the last one. We ignore that blue piece there, that's irrelevant for now. All we know is we've got the green next to the green centre and the yellow next to the yellow centre. That's all that's important right now. So then we've got a blue-yellow piece to go over here, and I can see that we've got the blue-yellow piece right here. Put the opposite colours on the faces, the same as it needs to be on the others, and do the same algorithm again. So 2R, U, 2R, U prime, 2R. And as you can see, the blue-yellow is now in place, and you may well be seeing that it's starting to turn a little bit more back into its cuboid state, the puzzle. Obviously it's not completely there now yet, but we're starting to make a little progress, as you can see. So I've only got one more corner on this lower layer left to do, which is the green and white, and as you've probably just noticed, I've just turned this into position. Noticed it was just sitting there waiting. So same as always, opposite colours on the faces, green on white, white on green, and the same algorithm once again. 2R U, 2R U prime, 2R. And that's that bottom layer solved. So now we move on to the top layer of our domino that we're solving at the moment. The first thing we need to do is line up the corners. Now this can be a little bit confusing on this puzzle sometimes because the shape shifting, it looks like all you're going to do is swap just two of these corners at the moment, but it's actually in the worst possible case at the moment where you need to do two corner swaps. Now what I would do in this situation is, because I've got a yellow and white there and a yellow and white there, so I'll line it up so the yellows are above where they want to be and the whites are above where they want to be. When it's shape shifted like this, what it actually means is they are opposite the position they need to be in. When they're in the position they need to be in, they always actually line up correctly with the rest of the puzzle, so that's how it returns it into its cuboid form. So I know that if I swap these two whites over and then swap these two yellows over, that will return the puzzle, or these two layers, sorry, that will return these corners into their correct positions. So that's what we're going to do first. So hopefully you know this algorithm from solving other cuboids, but just in case I'll go through it slowly once the first time. So it's you put the two corners that you want to be swapped on the right hand side of the puzzle, and you perform this algorithm. So I'm swapping the two whites on this occasion. So I'm performing a 2R, U, 2R, U prime, 2R, U prime, D, 2R, U prime, 2R, U, 2R. Now if we turn this around so that the whites are now in position, you can see that the blue and the green are on the right faces, so they're done. So now we need to swap the two yellow corners. We've got yellow green and yellow blue here, so place those on the right hand side of the puzzle and do the same thing again. 2R U, 2R U prime, 2R U prime D, 2R U prime, 2R U, 2R. And if we turn that into correct position, you can see that the whites are now solved and the yellows are now solved. So all we're left with is our centres on this layer. At the moment, none of them in the correct position. And what I always look for in that situation is ones that can swap to opposite faces. And as it turns out, none of that is possible either. So what we'll do is an adjacent edge swap. We'll swap this green centre with the yellow, which will solve this green face. And then we'll move on from there. So again, hopefully you should already know this adjacent edge swap algorithm, but just in case you don't, I will do it a little bit slowly the first time. So I've got the one piece that I want to be swapped on the right hand side and one piece facing me, so this will swap those two pieces, and this is the algorithm. It's 2R U, 2R U, 2R U2, 2R U2, 2R U, 2R U prime, 2R. And as you can see that the green centre is now where it needs to be, but obviously the yellow is in the wrong position, so we'll deal with that now. That can go to its opposite face now, so we do the opposite edge swap algorithm, which is 2R 2U, 2R 2U, 2R 2U. And that leaves us with just two edges that need to swap, the white and the blue. I kind of like it when it comes out like this in a tutorial, because it gives us the most difficult situations. That's a good thing when I'm trying to teach you everything that you need to do to solve these puzzles. So yeah, we'll swap the white and blue. So once again, put the one piece that you need to swap on the right hand side, one facing on the front, and one more time the adjacent edge swap is 2R U, 2R U, 2R U2, 2R 2R U2, 2R U, 2R U prime, 2R. And that's that centre layer solved. As long as you disregard these inner edges, and like I said, just read the corners and the centres, you can see that's actually solved. And as you'll actually probably notice, this centre layer is back into its cuboid state now. Okay then, so moving on, what we do now is solve the top and bottom layers separately as if they were a domino. Now, if you've solved other cuboids, you should already be familiar with the concept of having a working space. But just in case you're not, what happens is when you solve a certain piece, you'll mess up this side because you'll have it turned 180 degrees. If you then go on to turn the puzzle and solve another piece somewhere else, you'll mess up all the sides. So what you need to do is make sure you turn just one slice of the puzzle, and turn the other pieces that you want to move around so that you're actually only turning this one slice of the puzzle, so you don't mess up the whole sections that you've already solved in the previous step. Okay, so what we're going to do first is put the cross on the bottom face. Now, see, I've got the yellow there, so we'll put the red yellow over to where it belongs. As it turns out, we've got the red blue in position, so we just got lucky with that one, so we don't need to remove any of that. And so we just need to put the green and the white in. So we've got the red white over there, turn it to above where it needs to go, rotate it 180 degrees, and this is now our workspace. So we rotate where the red green is going to go, sorry, red green, I was right, to where so it's into the workspace. The red green is over here, turn that above it, and again rotate it 180 degrees, and line up your cross pieces where they need to be. So we've got the yellow, the green red, the white red, and the blue red all in position. So now we look in the top layer to see any pieces we've got with red in. So we've got red, white and green here, and so our workspace is solved at the moment, so we can actually put it anywhere we want. So we'll actually turn that to a position so it's above where it needs to go. This is the position it goes in, so above there. And the normal corner algorithm from top layer to bottom. R2, U, R2, U prime, R2. That's that one in place. We've now got a workspace here, so we'll keep that on the right hand side. So we've got a red, yellow, blue here, so we'll turn the slot for the red, yellow, blue to the right hand side. So it's red, yellow, blue. Put the red, yellow, blue piece above it, and the same algorithm again. R2, U, R2, U prime, R2. So red, yellow, blue is in position. Remember, we're ignoring this strip of pieces for now. Our workspace is solved, so we don't need to worry about that for the moment. So red, white, blue. So now we look for another red piece in the top. We've got red, white and blue there, like as I said. And so we turn the top layer so that it's above where it needs to go. So that's where the piece is, that's where it needs to go. That actually turns it to the correct place. So the normal algorithm again, R2, U, R2, U prime, R2, that's in position. We've got a workspace here, we need to keep on the right hand side. And the last corner piece is the red, yellow, green, so we'll find the red, yellow, green slot, which is here, red, yellow, green, and put that into position, R2, U, R2, U prime, R2. Line everything up. As you can see, the bottom layer is now solved, and as stated before, it puts it back into that layer into cuboid form as well. So all we've got left is the top layer, and I can see straight away we've got two white corners that are already solved, so put those into position, and that's nice and easy. So all that we've got left to do is a corner swap on these two yellow pieces to put all the corners in position. So we'll do the normal corner swap algorithm, top layer. So it's R2, U, R2, U prime, R2, U prime, D, R2, U prime, R2, U, R2. And as you can see, we're actually back in cuboid shape now. We've actually got lucky on that last layer that all the centre pieces were naturally in position. That's a very rare occurrence. But what I'll do, I'll mix a couple of them up now just to show you how we go about doing them. You should already know, but just to be certain. Alright then, this is a more likely scenario that you'll likely come across when you get to the top layer once you've got the corners in position. I've got the green, the blue is in position, but the yellow, white and green are all out of where they need to be. So first, as I said before, what I always do is look for ones that can swap to an opposite position. The yellow, orange can go to its opposite position there, so we use the opposite corner swap algorithm. So that's R2, U2, R2, U2, R2, U2, that's the yellow one solved over there. We've got workspace here, so keep that on the right hand side. We just need to swap the white piece and the green piece around. So put one piece on the right hand side, one on the front facing you, keeping the workspace on the right hand side, and do the adjacent corner swap algorithm, which of course is R2, U, R2, U, R2, U2, R2, U2, R2, U, R2, U prime, R2. And as you can see, that's now returned everything to its cuboid state. Okay, so the position we're in now is a position that all we need to do is perform parity algorithms to solve the pieces that are remaining. Now, there's no strict strategy that I use for this process. What I look for is sections or pairs of pieces that can be swapped around. So what you're going to do is swap pieces on opposite faces using parity algorithms. So I can see straight away that I've got two green pieces there and two blue pieces there that need to swap over. They're in the same layer, which is what they need to be. So it's going to be a simple case of doing a parity algorithm that you probably used on the 3x3x4 to swap them around. The only difference is when you do this algorithm is when you do the turns that will be the F for the front face turns, you actually turn it 2 layers deep because you need to actually move those pieces when you turn the front layer. So you do it exactly the same as you normally would, but you turn both of those layers. So the system we use for this, when you've got two pieces on an even number of pieces, should I say, that need to swap, is you perform a U-turn, but the U splits the pieces in the middle. So it's not actually just the upper layer I'm turning. I'm splitting the pieces in the middle between the two pieces that need to swap around. So I do a U2 there, a 2U, then you do a 2R, 2F, like I said, using both of the front two layers. Then you do a 2U again, splitting the pieces in the middle, and a further 2U just using the top layer. A 2F using the front two layers again, 2R, 2U on the top two layers. Now what that's actually done is it's moved that parity one step further forward, so they're now on the front face. Excuse me. So we're going to perform the same algorithm again, but this time all we're going to do is to turn the front face. Now hopefully you're already familiar with these algorithms if you've at least watched my my parity algorithm tutorial. This should all be fairly familiar to you. So I'm going to speed up a bit, not go quite so slowly now. So we're going to do the same thing again, swap these two around. So again it's 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U on both layers. And as you can see, that's solved those pieces. Now, again, what I look for now is pieces that can swap with each other. Now I can see that around these edges here we've got numerous pairs of pieces on every corner that are out of position. What I need to do is find a position that sets. There's no way I can swap any that will actually swap two sets into the correct position, but what I can see is that if I swapped, say, the red green into position there, I could then swap the red blue across, and that would leave them two on this face. Let me go through that process just so that makes sense entirely, hopefully anyway. What I'm going to do is swap the green orange pieces across to here, and these blue orange pieces will come across to here. Now obviously they will still be out of position, but at least I'll get one pair of them solved, and then I can work from there. So the algorithm I've got to use for these is again the even swap algorithm. Now the U-turn will be splitting just below the top one like that. That's what happens when you've got an even number of pieces on an odd numbered face. You make the split below the last of the upper pieces, if that makes sense. So if this was 7 layers and you had 2 pieces swap, you'd do it below the second lowest one. So basically you're splitting at the lowest point of the swapped pieces that are above the centre. I hope I'm making myself clear with that. So what I'm going to do is swap these 2 pieces and these 2 pieces across to the other sides. So this is my front face. You have the pieces that you want to swap on the left and right of the front face. So we'll start off with that 2U, then we'll do a 2R, 2F, 2U on the where we did it before, and a 2U on the upper face because it's an even number swap. Then 2F, 2R and 2U on the original layer. And as you can see, that's put the green orange pieces in place and it's swapped the blue orange pieces over to here. So we'll take the puzzle to one side and we can see that we've got now, if I now swap the green red pieces with the blue orange pieces, that'll put the green red pieces in position and we'll leave the blue orange pieces here opposite the blue red, and I can do one final swap to swap all those four. So we'll start off on this edge here. As I've said, it's exactly the same algorithm as before. Put them on the left and right of the front face, so this red side is now my front face. And we perform the same thing again. It's exactly the same as we just performed on the previous swap. So it's a 2U on the second layer, 2R, 2F, 2U on the second layer, 2U on the top layer, 2F, 2R, 2U on the second layer. And as you can see, the green red are now in position, and that's left the blue orange all the way over here now, which can now just swap places with the blue red to solve all of them. That will be all of them finished off. So we'll do that again now. So that'll be 2U on the second layer, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U. And that's all the edges in position, as you can see. The only thing we've got left now is this red and orange, which is an odd numbered swap, obviously. It's a similar situation as we had earlier. It's on the second layer in, so they are, when you do the front turn, you need to turn the front two layers, not just the front layer. And the odd numbered algorithm, if you watch my algorithm my parity algorithm tutorial, you'll know that it's slightly different, but it's not hugely different. I'll do it slowly the first time just to make sure you get the idea of what you do. So when you're doing an odd number, all you do is turn, as the up face, you turn the first layer above the pieces that needs to be swapped. Now obviously when it's only one piece, there's only one layer you can turn. But when you've got sides with more than one, it may be that you've turned a different layer to this on a different puzzle. But on this one, you turn just the top layer, so it's a 2U, and you do normal 2R, 2F on the second layer, remember, because the pieces to be swapped are on the second layer, 2U. Now you only do one 2U, you don't do the second piece one as we were doing with the even numbered pieces to swap. Then do our 2F on the second layer again, 2R, 2U, and to finish this one off on the odd layer, on the odd number swap, we then do a second, a 2F to finish it off, exactly the same place as we did before on the second layer in. Now again, what this actually does is it moves the parity one place further forward, and what it's actually done, it creates a parity somewhere else. What odd numbered parities always do, the odd numbered parity algorithm always does, is it moves the parity to another face. Now as you can see, it's put a parity here that wasn't here before we had all these solved until we did this algorithm. But I'm going to leave that in for now, because what often happens is when you're doing two layers like this, you'll put a parity in, and then when you perform the next parity algorithm on the one we were working on, it'll actually remove it again. So let's see if that's the case this time. So we'll do a 2U above the piece that needs to be swapped, 2R, 2F just on the front layer this time, because that's where the pieces are, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, and a 2F to finish it off. Now as you see, what this has actually done is put a parity over here, but since this is exactly the same as we were already solving, this is going to be dead easy for us. We just do it exactly the same as we did before, with a 2U splitting on the just below the bottom ones of the upper pieces. So it's 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U. And there we go, that's the TomZ 3x4x5 solved. What I'm going to do is scramble it a couple further times and just show you what I do with the parity algorithms to finish solving it, to try and give you as many possible different situations as I can with it, because it can come, some of them can be quite difficult to figure out exactly what you need to do, and hopefully we'll cover most, if not absolutely all, of the possible cases in the next couple of scrambles I do. Okay, so here we've got another situation. I've just scrambled it and solved it to this state, so I can show you what we do here. Now what I normally do whenever I have get to this stage is try and solve the odd numbered parities first, because what you'll often find is they will solve some of the even number parities that you might have. So I always do those before I do anything else. So I'm going to start off with these two here. I don't think we have this situation on the last section of the tutorial on this 3x5 side. So it's the same as we did for the other odd numbered parities. We do a 2U. So just to be clear, what I'm swapping here is this orange and yellow and this orange and white. So we put them on the left and right of the front face. We then do a 2U above the pieces that need to be swapped. 2R, 2F, 2U again, 2F, 2R, 2U, and a 2F to finish. And what that's actually done is move the parity to this side, so we can solve that one right now. We'll swap the yellow green and the yellow blue here with the normal even numbered parity algorithm. So it's 2U splitting the two pieces need to be swapped, 2R, 2F, 2U where we did it before, and a 2U on the top layer, 2F, 2R, and a 2U to finish that off as well. Now that's left us with we've got an odd number parity here that we'll sort out next, because that may well fix some of these corner issues we've got going on at the moment. So remember, this is on the second layer deep. We're going to be swapping this red centre with this orange centre. So when we do our F turns, we need to use both of the front layers. So I'll put them on the left and right of the front face, a 2U above them, 2R, 2F on the front two layers, a 2U, 2F again, 2R, 2U, and a 2F where we did it before to finish off. Let's move that parity to the front layer. So we then do exactly the same again. We do 2U, 2R, but 2F, but only on the front face this time. 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, and 2F to finish. And well, it has solved one of the parity problems we had on one of those corners where we've done that. So now we've just got two swaps to do to finish this puzzle off. Now you see the green red needs to come all the way around the puzzle, so we'll deal with that one first. We'll swap the blue orange to this side, which will solve those, put the green red pieces here. So once again, put the two sets of pieces on the left and right of the front face. So we're doing a 2U on the second layer, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U. So that's swapped the blue-orange pieces onto this side, so that's solved, and now we've just got one swap left on these red and orange, green and orange and green and red pieces to finish off the puzzle again. So we do a 2U split on the second layer again, keeping the pieces to be swapped on the left and right of the front face. So 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, and once again that's the puzzle solved. Okay, so here's one more scramble of the 3x4x5. We've come to quite an interesting situation here. As you can see, we've finished off with a line on each face of the green and blue that's out of position. So what I always do if I ever come across this is to put them into place and see where that gets us. So what I'll do is turn this 180 degrees, twist the blue stripe where it belongs in the blue face, and remove the setup move. Now what that's actually left us with is, instead of the whole stripe, it's given us just one odd parity swap there, and a weird case here, which is a good example to show you of something that you're going to need to do regarding setup moves quite often. So what I'm going to do first, take out this odd number parity here, the red centre and the orange centre. We'll do that first. As I said, I always like to do the odd numbers first, the odd numbered parities first, because that tends to affect the even numbered parities, because the odd number parity algorithm always moves the parities somewhere else on a different side. Alright then, so we've got the red on the left, the orange on the right, and so we do the odd number parity, so it's 2U, 2R, 2F. Remember to do it on the second layer, cross the pieces to swap on the second layer. 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. So that's brought it forward to the front layer, so we do it one more time. Again, to U, to R, to F on just the single front layer, to U, to F, to R, to U, and to F to finish. Now that's moved the parity over to this side here. So now what we're left with is a situation that you can see here. What I'm going to do is solve this blue, yellow and blue, white first, because that's easy. This just gets that one out of the way. That's a simple, straightforward swap. So on the left, put them on the left and right, do a 2U splitting them, to R, to F, to U, to U, to F, to R, to U. And what we're left with here is a strange situation where we've actually got 6 pieces that are swapped, which might seem a little bit odd. Now, what I can see is we've got a red and green and red and blue that need to swap there. And so if I bring the other red and green and red and blue across to meet them for the moment, and do an algorithm swapping those 2 pairs, that should give us an easier situation to handle. So that's 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U. We'll undo that setup move, and what we've actually got is an entire green stripe now on this side and the red stripe there, so we'll put those into position where they need to go, and that's giving us a more understandable situation. Right, what we've got is a odd number parity here, so we'll deal with this one first. Got orange there and red there. Now as you can see at the moment they're on different layers. The orange is there, the red is back here. So what we need to do is a setup move to put them on the same layer. So we'll do a 2L. Now we need to remember that 2L because we need to remove that setup move once we finish the parity algorithm. So they're now on the left and right on the second layer, so we do the normal parity algorithm. So that's 2U, 2R, 2F on the second layer, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, and a 2F to finish, which puts the parity on the front layer as always. So we now do the same one again on just the front layer, 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. And to finish off, we remove that setup move on the 2L that we placed in before. And as always, that's moved the parity over to this side here, so we can remove that one as the same way as we always do. So we do a 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U. And that just leaves us with these 2 blue and these 2 green that need to swap. Now again, they're on different layers at the moment. So what you need to do is once again do that setup move. So this time I'm going to do a 2R to bring them both onto the second layer there, and the normal parity algorithm just to solve those, swapping the 2 green pieces. And once we've done that, we'll remove that setup move once again. So that's a 2U, 2R, 2F on the second layer because they are on the second layer, 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U. Now we need to remove that setup move, but we don't do it just yet because all we've done with that parity algorithm, we move it to the front face. So we've got to swap these 2 pieces over first of all. So it's a 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, and remove the setup move that we did originally on the 2R, and that's the puzzle solved. Now hopefully that's given you enough examples to be able to solve the puzzle from now on. If you ever get into a situation that you can't figure out exactly what needs to swap, what I always do, because it does happen, you can get into some quite complex situations, do what we did in this particular example where you put 2 sets of pairs together, do a parity algorithm on those pairs and see what you're left with after that, and you'll often find that it does tend to clear things up a bit. So yeah, hopefully that's all easy to understand. If you've got any questions, please obviously just leave a question in the comments. If you happen to get into a situation that you simply cannot solve, then please let me know. If you do a response video to this video, or send me some pictures of it, and I'll take a look and see if I can do anything about it for you. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, hope it's been some use to you. Please subscribe to my channel and click like if you like my videos, and I'll see you next time. Take care now.